Hello, everybody. It's about 4 o'clock my time, 3 o'clock Central. I wanted to give us just another minute or so while people are joining. And a heads up, I am calling you from my hometown in New York. For whatever reason, the winds just decided to pick up and it's super windy, so I'm a little nervous. You might see me looking around checking. I'm just hoping to not lose power because, that would be the way to kick off a webinar, right? Um, Anyway, I'm super excited to be here. I will give it another minute or so while we wait. I appreciate you checking on our otter scale. I see one of my friends just joined, and I so appreciate him. He's been coming to all our webinars, and it's exciting to get to know some of you a little bit more. For those of you that are new to me, at the end of this webinar, you'll get my email address, and I really look forward to hearing from you and keeping in touch so we can explore your Screencastify journey together. I would love for you to just take a moment and click the Screencastify link. It's going to give you a video of me talking, but a chance to see and experience embedding questions. So for those of you that have taken a moment to explore it, I appreciate it. I think that it's a good way if Screencastify is new to you or you haven't used it in a long time, a good way to experience it before we officially launch. So I'm just going to give you a minute to give that link a try. I'll post it again for those that are just joining, and then we will be ready to kick off this webinar and explore live learning. Okay, let's get started. I appreciate all of you that took a moment to fill out the questions. We have a variety of people on the call in this webinar today. So for the super users that have used this all the time, I really would love to see you in the chat adding to what I'm saying, because I'm not the expert on all things, but I like to just bring this conversation to all of us and bring us all together to talk about it. So for our super users, please be in the chat. Please jump in, share your ideas, the ways that you use this in your district. I think it's helpful for all of us to learn together. And for those of you that are on here that are super new to Screencastify, this is going to be a discussion about one of our tools. So I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I want you to ask all the questions in the chat, and we will make sure that we are able to address your needs either in the moment or after this webinar. So I appreciate everyone checking in. We're going to talk about increasing student engagement with live learning today. And I just want to introduce myself. I'm Erica Rogan. I'm your presenter on this webinar. You'll notice that I use a lot of the Screencastify tools embedded in this presentation. So this little GIF is something that I made with Screencastify. Very simple way to do it. If you haven't used Screencastify for that need, it's a great way to increase engagement and a great way to use repetitive images in our daily schedules and our routines. So I like to practice what I preach and use it as often as possible. Like I said at the very beginning, I'm calling from my hometown in Katona, New York. It's super windy right now. I don't really know where it came from because the sun was out just a moment ago. So that's always fun. Springtime in New York can be like that. So that's expected, I guess. I did mention I'm not an expert on everything, but I am an expert in problem solving and trying to figure things out. So we will play with Screencastify Live Learning today. If we have questions and I can't answer them in the moment, I will get them to you. I'm really good at making sure that we connect and getting that information, answering questions after the fact, or in the moment if I can. I really, really, really thrive on your engagement and your excitement. So the more excited you are about something, then the more excited I will be. So please stay with me in the chat. If I'm saying something that you love, let me know, because that's exciting for me as the presenter, but then it's also something that keeps us all connected and wondering and talking. If you have an aha moment, like, oh my gosh, can I use this for this? Put it in the chat. Let's talk about it. I look at the chat throughout our webinar and our time together, and I really love that we're learning together and we're growing. So I will be looking for that and hoping that you are with me and engaged with me as we do this. All right, let's play a little bit with live learning. What we're going to do is experience this first from the student's perspective. I have a live learning game for those of you that are not aware of what live learning is, and you're just here because you saw we had a webinar. We will get to experience it together. And what I will look for is for your questions and your wonderings in the chat. It's going to be a very short but engaging experience with finding out how you can embed assessments in a more gamified way. So what we'll do is have a little bit of fun first, have you experience this as a student before we jump into the design. And for those of you that have been on webinars or PD sessions with me, I would like you to remember that it's so important that you see this first as a student before we start talking about how to design it. And once we get into the designing, then we'll start thinking about, oh, okay, this is how I can use it for my content area or my practice. But to see it first and experience it first, I think is a really helpful way to just make sure we're all on the same page. And Hillary is sharing that she loves that Screencastify took over resources when Flip was no longer available. Hillary, you're so right. We had a webinar, I think it was just last week, on our submit feature, which is a nice replacement for those of us that lost access to Flip. We'll talk about it a little bit today because we'll talk about how to create authentic student assessment with inviting our students to co-create with us. So we'll talk about all of that. And I want you just to kind of have a sense of what the scope will be like while we're on this webinar. For anyone that's super new to Screencastify, it might feel a little fast. It might feel like you're not quite there yet because you're not even sure how to create your own video, and that's okay. Just stay with us on this webinar to kind of see what the full picture is, maybe get excited about it or interested. And when you get this recording of this webinar, I will also send you asynchronous slides that walks through the very, very beginning of how to use the extension, how to navigate the website, and all the tools that are available to you. So you don't have to feel like you need to be an expert right away. But I'm hoping that what you experienced today on this webinar will help you feel comfortable to take that chance and just give this a try, and then learn and enhance your additional Screencastify skills while you're doing this. So stick with us, but keep asking your questions in the chat. All right, let's play. Oh, I actually should mention again, here's that little GIF of me in the corner dancing. And I like to say this on every webinar. My kids cringe every time they see this, but I do like to use this to add my personality to my slides, but also it helps with engagement. It helps increase some excitement for some people, or have a little bit of silliness, because we don't always have to be so serious, right? And I like to put that in there sometimes. So I had to say it because my kids are always like, Mom, I can't believe you would put that in there. Okay, let's play a game. I'm looking at the chat. Can I get a thumbs up or some kind of emoji? Let me know you're ready, because it's exciting to know that we're all going to be doing this together. I see a hand raised. Ready? Awesome. All right, I'm going to grab this link for you. And what I would like you to do, all right, I love the emojis that you're all choosing too. Very exciting. We're going to do this together. I'm going to put the link in the chat for you. And you are going to click on the link. And I'm going to hop over to my screen. And what we're going to do together is, you'll probably have another tab, right? So you'll have this webinar, and then you'll have the link I sent you. I'm going to hop over and I'm just going to quickly launch a quiz that I've already made. And I'm using my dashboard and I'm just navigating through my other assessments that I've created. And what's really beautiful with live learning is that I'm able to just post it live and away we go. So I'm wondering, here we go. Okay, so again, I'll give you the link. And I will also post the code. It's probably asking you for a code. You'll notice that it is on my screen. So as the teacher that's running the activity, this would be on my smartboard, my panel, or on my Zoom call if you're doing this asynchronously. And the code will appear. So what you're viewing right now on my screen is what your students would be viewing if they were in your class. And you would be able to share this link out for your students, whether you use any kind of learning management system like Schoology, Google Classroom, or Canvas. You can share that link directly there and simply copy and paste. But if you saw before, I just clicked on Host Live and I was able to launch that. So Shannon is saying it gives me a code, not a place to enter yours. Let's try it again. I see some players are in, Shannon, so let's try it again. Here, you can click on that blue link. And then you should be able to enter the code. And I see some of you joining now. Excellent. We'll just give it another minute or so to make sure everybody is with us because we have a few more participants. If you're watching and you're not able to do this, that's fine. I'd like you to be safe. Let's say you're driving and you're just listening. But for those of you that are able to, I would love to see, here we go. We've got about 12 players because it's not a competition unless we have a nice number, right? And once again, it's really important that you try this out as the student first, and then we start to see what is this live learning that she keeps talking about. Now, anybody that was able to enter the link earlier where you saw a video and some embedded questions, you're going to experience the same activity. However, I'm the driver of the activity, and I'm going to be able to launch this with us all in the moment on the same page and at the same pace. So that's a very exciting way to start to use video and video engagement. All right, 30 more seconds. See if we can get 2 more players to join because we're at 18. So let's see if we can get 2 more people to just be like, all right, fine, I'll click on the link. Let me know, let's see. Can we get 2 more? Oh, we've got 1 more now. Here we go. I feel like I'm doing an auction or a bid. All right, we're at 20. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit start the game. And Sheila is saying you can't join from your phone. I get that. This is something that's right now most accessible on a computer, on your students' Chromebooks or whatever they might use. So that might be why, Sheila. So just watch. You'll get to see. And hopefully next time where you can try it out yourself and launch one with your coworkers and experience it. So you'll notice that your screen looks a little different. It's probably saying that it's waiting for me. What's going to happen is I'm going to start the game. And you're going to see my video.
Can you finish?
And hopefully you are able to hear this because I tested out the audio and I'm hoping that that works. But what we're going to do is finish the lyrics challenge. Okay, good. And we won't be able to do all of these questions unless you're really into it. We can always keep going. But I want you just to experience what this is like. So what you'll notice is on my screen, I have the video playing. The audio is coming from there. Your screen as the student is just telling you to pay attention to the teacher screen. So you're eliminating already any distractions that might be present. And when I click,
The lyrics of these all-time hit songs? Before you begin, please like and subscribe. Number 1, Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana.
okay, so what you're probably seeing now on your screen is the multiple choice questions or multiple choice answers. You might not know the song, and that's totally fine. You could just take a guess and take a notice of what happens when you answer. You're going to either get that immediate feedback that your answer is correct or incorrect. And I have this set to a certain time limit. So when that time's out, then the question is done. I'm able to now have the correct answer appear. So I'll give you a moment to toggle to my screen. Lori is asking, does everyone else see the choices? So Lori, were you able to see on your student screen the multiple choice questions that were embedded? What's very exciting is that you're going to get that instant feedback. And now I'm able to, as a teacher, pause. I'm able to talk about this, and I have the correct answer shown. I'm able to then get a sense from my students in the moment. You'll know, right? Everyone's going to be like, ah, or excited, and we can talk about that answer. And then when I'm ready, I can hit continue. We see our leaderboard based on response time, based on correct or incorrect responses. And you should also have access to seeing that on your computer, on your screen now as a student. So I'll just give you a moment. And I'll hit continue.
Number 2. Every breath you take by the police.
Every smile you fake, every claim you stake.
All right, so you have a moment to answer. And I see that Lori closed her tab, so I'm just going to help her out for a moment. As you all answer. And Lori, it's great that you experienced that your tab had closed, because if I had posted this in my learning management system or a way that my students can go back and click at any time, you'll notice the join code is always available on the upper right-hand side of my screen. So if I have students that come in late or come in the middle of an activity, I'm able to join that game and jump right in. So I see that Hillary is saying it's similar to Edpuzzle. I'm interested to see how unique it will be in comparison. I'm loving it so far. Yay! This is why I like launching this game activity right from the beginning, because it's better than me just talking at you about this. We get to really see it and start thinking about our own use. It is very similar to Edpuzzle. I think there's some differences when we dig into the creation side. And what we'll do a couple more questions just for those of you that are in it. And then I want you to see the assessment, and the AI integration is going to be the game changer that I think will hook you into wanting to use Screencastify live learning and our other assessments on our platform. So that's exciting. I'm happy that you're loving it. Alicia's asking, is it too late to join? I thought I was already in, but I'm just looking at a screen where I can hit start. The second time it did ask me for a join code. Alicia, join. We'll do a couple more questions. Like I said, the code is always on the upper right-hand side. And what you'll see, again, I can pause this video and this gameplay for as long as I need to. And as the teacher, I can really control what my pacing is, which is really helpful. We have 20 responses collected. We have our correct answer. Let's move on and do another song. Again, our leaderboard. So that's always exciting. For those of you that like gamification or find that this is engaging for you, this is another way to really encourage our students in that active participation. We do these in our faculty meetings, and we have some teachers that are just so into it and just want to be on the top of that leaderboard, and that really helps our students also, right? Because we're very similar in a lot of those ways. Okay, so you can see how I can control this pacing.
I'll be watching you.
Number 3. Billie Jean by Michael Jackson.
And then there's your question. And again, it's a timer. So we're waiting for that. Now, here's the exciting thing. This is all set up and you'll learn how to do this, but it's created where AI is actually grading for me. And so it's keeping track of all this data that I can use. It is grading. And you'll also notice the next question, you'll experience another question type that we can ask, which will also be graded by AI. So I want you to see our leaderboard. All right, Kayla. Looks like Todd's right behind you. Whoop. And here's your next question. So for you to just experience and see that there are additional ways, and the feedback that you will get will be that your teacher will grade this, but AI is also grading and suggesting for me. So we're going to take a look at that together. All right, I have 19 responses collected, 20 responses. So I can see on the bottom of my screen how that's happening. And then I will have that ability. Okay, let's do one more for those of you that are really into it. I wish we had time to do the rest, but I want to make sure that we really talk about how to design these experiences. And I love that you're loving it. And believe me, I don't want to cut you off with the fun competitive piece, but I want you to see and learn how to create this for your students. So let's just do one more for fun and then we'll get into it. And Alicia is asking if you're supposed to see the video well. So Alicia, what are you seeing on your screen? Your screen is probably saying pay attention to the screen or to your teacher's screen or something like that. And that's because you are in this as a student. So we're envisioning that you are either standing in front of your class and you have your smart panel, whatever you have in your classroom, as the teacher signed in, and that's where the video will play, and your students are logged in with this link I sent you, and they're participating, asking the question. So paying attention is a really nice way to keep the students locked in on the screen. This is kind of similar to a Kahoot experience. However, your screen will change to the questions and the answers at the appropriate time. So what I like about this is that I'm not transferring any information. I'm looking at the video and then I'm looking. Shannon's asking where to get the video. I'm going to show you as soon as we get into it. I'm glad you're asking. Again, this is helping me also know where you would like what information. Okay, one more question.
Number 4.
Last one.
One by you too.
Okay, this is our last one. It was just honoring Kayla and Todd's vying for first place. And then once again, you'll get that immediate feedback. So Alicia, hopefully you're seeing this and experiencing it, where you're now seeing the questions, the response, and then whatever you answer and submit, you will get the incorrect or the correct. And then my screen as a teacher will change and I will have the correct response and on that experience. So here's our leaderboard. Oh, sorry, Kayla. So what's really exciting is that when we get to the end of this experience, your leaderboard will show some confetti. I'll be able to jump right into my results and students will be able to rewatch the video if they needed to. So now that we all had the chance, I wanted to give Alicia a moment to be able to see. I'm going to hop into my account. Normally I can continue this quiz and then we would be able to view those results, but I can also get in by just jumping into my assessment. And I'm back on my platform. So what's really nice is that at any time on the Screencastify website, I will be able to access any of my quizzes or assessments on the left-hand side, where I can either see any ones that I've launched live. So here's my live learning dashboard, and I have my quiz dashboard and my submit dashboard, which we can certainly talk about for sure. And I have my name. I think we did guess the lyrics. Which one did I launch? How many students can use this at the same time? I don't think that there is a maximum number. So I would imagine that the amount of students that you would be running this with would be available. And does this quiz count as a video? Mia, I'm not sure what your question is. Can you give me a little bit more information with what you're asking? This counts as video assessment if that's what you're asking. I just want to make sure that I'm clear on your question. And while we're waiting for Mia in the chat, I'm just going to scroll and show you that on my dashboard, I'm able to see how many viewers and how many responses I've collected on my assessment. And what's in the free account, you can only, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Right. So in the free account, you can only get to create 10 videos. There's a limitation. I'm not really aware of all of the differences between subscriptions and stuff like that. So I'm sorry that I can't help you with that. But what I want you to be aware of is that this video that we have done, somebody was asking, I was able to pull from our premium account, our premium library. So for those of you that have access, we do have a premium library. We're going to talk about it, where you can pull in videos from the YouTube for education. So I'm trying to talk and click at the same time because I want to show you the right video quiz that we use. And I keep clicking and it keeps bringing me to this. So that's kind of funny. Okay, let's try it again. Guess the lyrics. And what we would have are our responses. And I don't know, maybe we didn't finish, so I'll show you a different view. But what we would be able to see is the breakdown of all of those responses. Let me show you what that looks like on another one. Maybe we didn't finish it quite, so we're not able to see it, but that's okay. What I have is a really nice way. Let's find something with a little bit, here we go. Where I would be able to view the responses of my quiz by either viewer or by question. And what's really nice is a really quick view of the breakdown. This was what movie is this song from? So similar kind of activity. And I'm able to see that breakdown live. I'm able to adjust the scoring if I need to. And I'm able to take a look at where my students had their correct or incorrect responses. So very exciting way to engage our learners and to engage in those kind of video-based assessments. So let's talk about how I can create this. Now that I'm not in my student mode, I want you to take notice that you have a few options. One way is to record your own video using our Screencastify extension. So what I can do is click on my extension. I can go ahead and record my full screen. If I want to include my webcam, I can do that as well. And I can make my own video, demonstration, tutorial, whatever I would need for my students. I can also use my dashboard. I can also upload a video that maybe someone has sent me or I have saved on my computer from another source. Or import directly from my drive and pull that video in. So that's another way that I can use my own video assessments to create these opportunities. And for those of you that are able to and have access to the premium library, I do know that if you don't have access to it at the moment, but you are a subscriber, that in the next school year, everyone will have access to this. So it's really helpful to hear that we do have premium library, which is where you can access any YouTube for education videos. So I can go ahead and pull in from either browsing these channels, filtering through different ways that I can filter my video, or searching. So Shannon was asking, where did I find this? And I did guess the, and there are so many videos. Guess the lyrics, guess. Oh, you know why? Because I'm in Khan Academy. Silly Erica. Here we go. If I do guess the, there are so many engaging YouTube for education videos already done with emojis, movies, television shows. It's endless. You can refine it. I like music and that engages me. So I do guess the lyrics and you can really move in and find what you would like. And whether I'm going to design an assessment with a YouTube for education video or my own, the experience is the same. So I'm going to show you. If I'm going to click on a YouTube video, it pulls it directly into my account where I'm now able to start to use some of the other Screencastify features that I will show you. If I'm using my own video, I'm just going to hop out and show you that so you can see the comparison. This is a math homework video that we have, and I want to show you one. I'll make a copy of this, and I'm showing you as I'm going. Again, if I'm going fast, I want to honor your time, and we're here to talk about live learning. So again, stay with me and you will get access to slides that will kind of walk you through how to do this. I'm also showing you some other ways and other features that we have available now that's super exciting, like being able to make a copy of a video, which I think is really great, and then being able to share this out with your coworkers. So I just want you to see what we can do. I've made this copy. What I want you to know is whether you are pulling in a YouTube video, whether you've uploaded or imported your own, or you created your own video, I can enhance this with AI Assistant, where it's going to generate captions for me. It's going to generate a title. So see, it kind of fixed my title. It's also going to give me a really beautiful description, which is going to be helpful for that context. And when my students or families or whoever I'm designing this video for looks and watches this video, they're going to be able to, just like you experienced, see the video itself. They're going to be able to see a transcript of my video and any of my embedded questions. Now, here's what I want you to know. You're noticing that there's already questions here, and that's because I made a copy of an existing assessment, which means that you can create your own video assessments and share this out with your teams, with your grade level partners. If you're on this webinar and you're a coach or someone who designs professional development for your district, you can share this out district-wide, and people can make their own copy. The results won't carry over, but the actual assessment questions will. So it's very exciting. So you noticed already that I can have my assessment questions. Here's that title and description. And just really quickly while you're here, because some of you did mention that this is all new for you, I do want you to know that any videos you do create can have translations in the closed captioning. And I'll just scroll so you can see. So you can translate those closed captions, and you can also translate the voiceover of your video. So I just want to mention it. It's too important to not mention on every single Screencastify webinar because it's a game changer. If you're on here, you're thinking about engagement and assessments, I just need you to know that this is here and available for you to use. And again, your AI voiceover, and I'm just scrolling so you can look, because I'm sure you're now thinking, what about this language? What about my students, my families, my own teammates and coworkers that I'm designing these opportunities for? So I do want you to know that that's available, and that also will translate a transcript along with it. So I'm able to toggle, and this is important because you might want to design assessments that you're launching live in the moment with your class, and you also might want to design assessments that you can launch, that you're sending out via a link for students to do in their own time and at their own pace. So I just want you to see the difference. If I hop back to my original video, and I'm just scooching my Zoom tools out of the way, I'm back at my main page where I'm going to be ready to start creating my quiz. And I want you to know that once you click on assess, you can either add the quiz, or in this case, because there's already questions, I can edit. It doesn't matter. What's beautiful is I can delete and I can move on. So here's the screen that I want you to notice. And for those of you that are like, wait, I'm loving this activity, I went ahead and I did a combination of adding my own questions and using AI to help generate those questions for me. What I want you to know is that if I add my own questions, Screencastify will auto grade any multiple choice questions for me. So whether you pick the correct lyric or not, Screencastify was auto grading that for me. And then I'm able to just move through my assessment. If I'm choosing a short answer question, you'll remember and you'll see that there's a note that if I'm doing it manually, Screencastify will not, excuse me, will not auto grade for me. But if I generate with AI, it absolutely will. So on your question that you guys experienced that said, who is the one that sang the song? And the correct answer is Michael Jackson. If you typed in MJ, AI also will recognize that that's a correct response and grade it accordingly. And it will give credit. What's really nice is on my dashboard, it will kind of flag it for me to take a look and see, but it's really exciting and a really, really exciting way to start streamlining our work and having AI help and support us in that. If you have grade back capability enabled in your district with your learning management system, this will also integrate with that as well. So let's take a look. This is a demonstration of a multiplication homework assignment that I can easily turn into a quiz. And I just want you to see what happens if I'm selecting whichever question I would like. I'm going to say both. And I'm going to say I would like 7 questions, and I can pick my grade level. And what's really nice with this, I use this with my own work. I work as a speech language pathologist in a middle school. So I have grades 6, 7, and 8, but I also work in a lot of classrooms that are ungraded or self-contained classrooms, and I can go ahead and choose additional question types or make a copy of this and start differentiating based on my student need. But I'm going to go ahead and say that I would like grade levels 4, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to ask it to think of some questions. And what AI is doing is pulling the transcript that it's already analyzed for closed captioning. Anything that I'm saying in this video recording, it is now using to generate questions. So you'll notice that you'll see a couple of examples and correct answer responses. And once I like it, I can hit add. And I like that one. I'm going to hit add again. And you'll see that it's suggesting different types. And if the answer is typed in this way or very similar, let's say they wrote 3 times TIMES, AI will flag that and grade it for you. If the answer is incorrect or it's really far off from what AI can decide, it'll just mark it for you to see and say, this requires your review, and then you can make those adjustments. But I want you to see I can scroll down through this one video and I can choose to add all, or I can say, I like those 2, but I want you to regenerate and give me some more question types, and I can do that. These are the questions that are added. You'll notice it's at 36 seconds in when it asks the question, and you'll notice that this one is at 45 seconds in, so I can see that timing. I can select if I'd like to edit. So I like where AI was heading, but I kind of want to reword it a little bit. I'm not, I want to make it a little bit more meaningful for my students or add a little more information, whatever I need. I can make those edits and changes. I can change my question weight if I like. And then I'm able to play around in my settings where I can prevent students from skipping ahead, and I can decide on a due date and all that information. When I'm ready to launch, this is what's really exciting. I can preview this as a student directly. I can share this out, or I could just grab that link and paste it for anyone to view. But if I click on share, I want you to see that I can directly add any of my co-teachers, anyone that I want to add and give access to either view this or make their own copy. So once again, I've designed this, and now I'm sharing it out with my grade level. I'm sharing it out with my school for everyone to use and launch. The data that's collected, the information and responses will not be carried over, just the questions. So another way for someone to then take this and make any modifications or changes for their students. So that's another exciting way to work together. And then as I scroll down, here's where you have your options. You can choose to now host this live like we just did, and that launches us right into that screen. So I've designed, I'm ready to roll, and it brings us to that screen that you're familiar with now, that here's that code, and my students are able to just jump right in. And then I can also decide if I want to just bring this in as an assessment opportunity for my students to be able to just jump in and do this at their own pacing, either directly through Google Classroom, through email, or a QR code, which my favorite way to be able to embed QR codes around my classroom, my workstations, homework packets that are physically printed, whatever it is. But just so you know what's available for you. But again, to host live, I'm just clicking on this and I'm ready to launch. That process is exactly the same in a YouTube for Education video. So if you are going to try to launch a similar activity that I did, this was the one that we picked before. And I can look at that YouTube for Education video and you'll notice it looks very similar. My AI assistant will come in and it will change the title. It will change the description and add those captions like we experienced. The only difference is at the moment, you will be able to translate the transcript of this video, but because of YouTube copyright and restrictions, you won't be able to necessarily translate all of the information like you could on your own video. So
Welcome to you quiz. In this
ooh, that surprised me. So you'll see you don't have the ability to translate those actual captions, but I can translate my transcript. So just something that you should know, but that's because of YouTube copyright restrictions. And I know that's something that Screencastify and YouTube are always talking about. But you'll notice the same exact process and that I can add that AI quiz and grading. And when I click on it, I want you to see it looks exactly the same. So the same way that you have just walked through it with me is where you would walk through with your own participants in your own YouTube video. When you're ready to view those responses, I'm just clicking right on responses and I can see it. I'll show you how to get there from our dashboard. But what I do want you to know is if you're picking a YouTube for Education video, and I'm just going to click again, you might not want the full 10 minutes and 40 seconds. So what I have done is just dragged these scissors to kind of trim it for just a few minutes. And you can find it in the right place that you would like it to be, and then save that trim. And then that's the video that then you can start embedding those questions in. So I just wanted you to know that that's available for you. And what you'll notice, once again, I'm going to just click on my assessment dashboard. You saw this a little bit before. This is where, once again, I can come in to any assessments that I've created, quiz or live learning, and I can host any of those assessments live on the right-hand side. I can also choose, if I haven't really set anything up yet, I can just click on new live learning and the same process is available for me. I'm able to access the premium library where you'll notice it looks the same. I can pull in those YouTube for Education videos. I can access my own videos and you'll see it's the same process. So I like that there's multiple ways to do this, but Screencastify has given you some options in how you want to access that. What I want to mention before we really start talking about some specific use cases and I'll give you some goodies. The one piece that we will have to either, you can look at the async slides or on our website for more learning, is we do have Submit, which is become our flip replacement. This is where you can create an assignment to invite students to make their own recordings and their own Screencastify recordings, whether you want them to use their screen and webcam, just their webcam, or just their screen. But what I want you to know, and again, we have a separate webinar that you can always review, and I'm happy to help you, is once you've created this assignment, you're going to be able to pull in any student created videos because Screencastify makes a Google folder in your Google Drive that's called Screencastify Submit. So if you create this assignment for students to make their own videos, you can import those videos directly from your drive. So I have Screencastify Submit, and these are all my submit activities. And when I click on it, I will be able to pull in my student's video. And if I do it, they're all me. I was just doing like a test one for you. So, but I can pull in that video, upload it right into my Screencastify account, and you'll notice that it's already loaded here. I can then walk through that same process and use my student's video for an assessment for my class. And that is one way to really increase engagement among your students because they will like the idea of being the ones to ask or create the question or the assessment opportunity, or if they have something that they're presenting, and then to be able to embed those questions themselves. I'm just pausing this so you don't have to watch me on a random day. But again, all of those features are available. So I can take that student created video and I can embed those closed captionings and I can turn that into a quiz and launch that live. So it's very exciting. The opportunities are endless. And what I wanted to talk about before we wrap up is just the changes and the differences now that you've seen it, that we can really support our students' cognitive load by not having them watch an entire video or pause it at certain points and have them then act on it. We're able to really embed those time checks and that checking for comprehension in the moment and live. But we're really able to gamify and create that instant feedback and that engagement that we really are always looking for in a way that is safe for our students to engage in that. The accessibility is built in. If you are using any screen reader, any text to speech, it will work on all of these questions. And if it's short answers, students are able to voice dictate using their software that they're used to using. So it's helpful in addition to having access to the translated closed captioning for students to really use and engage in our assessment part of our platform. And I will give you a goodie. The next slide has some QR codes and I'll give you those links, but just ways to start thinking about how any age, pre-K all the way through our 12th graders, are able to start engaging in video assessments and that type of gamified learning to really engage in video about anything, whatever we would normally use, and how we can start to either use this as interactive read alouds and comprehension checks, math problem solving, right? The opportunities are endless. The one on the bottom right, team building, is a classic example of using the guess the lyrics or guess the song that we talked about before. So if you're on here as a coach and you're looking to introduce this for the first time at a faculty meeting or at a PD session, you now have a really great starting point to say, okay, I'm going to pull in that video or make my own. If you don't have access to Premium Library, you can upload a video that you find, whether it's like a fun video on Instagram that you can download, right? Like the opportunities really are endless to be able to start to embed assessment opportunities or engagement for our own staff and colleagues. So I'm going to give you these links where you can use this to pass on to any of your colleagues. You'll see that there's 3 options. I'm just going to navigate over into my drive and give them to you. But one will give you kind of a breakdown of the passive viewing versus using live learning. If you're on here again as a coach or a PD developer, it's really helpful to have this information. I think from Screencastify to be able to use in the moment. What I really want you to have is some use cases. So I'm just going to start putting some links for you. If I've lost you, this is all going to be shared in the recording and what we have in our follow-up email. So this one will be, you're getting started. And then here are some use cases specifically for all different professionals that are on this webinar. So we have some examples for ELA, for math, for social studies, any related service providers, library media specialists, PE, music, art. All of us are on here trying to find the best way that we can support our students and our colleagues. So I like for you to have goodies and to leave a webinar with some goodies and next steps. So let's make sure you have everything you need. And I want to also get you that last link if you wanted it. It's just step-by-step directions, again, that you can share with your teams. So I'm just kind of chat bombing with some links for you. Rhonda's asking, how can we get access to the Premium Library if we are already pro users? I would chat with your with whoever your ed tech person is in your district to make sure that you have access to that. And if not, they can connect with their CSM from Screencastify to make sure that you do have the proper access, because that is a game changer. I know in the fall, all the licenses, everything will change and everyone will have access to that premium feature come fall. So if you do not have access to it now, this is something to start thinking about, because we're getting close to the end of the year, which is super exciting. So I'm already seeing that some of you are talking about the AI assist and being helpful. Thank you so much. Before you go, I want you to ask questions. I want you to think about your own use. And this is my classic thinking routine. I adapted this from the fabulous Dr. Catlin Tucker, but I want you to think about what you have explored. You don't have to use these exact prompts, but what has changed for you in this time together in knowing what you know about Screencastify? I know we talked about a lot, but I would like to make sure that you have everything that you need as we start thinking about your own practice. Again, I know we went fast because we were talking about live learning, but I wanted you to see kind of an overall picture, and you will get those asynchronous slides to be able to engage in a deep dive, deeper learning. So, Kim, I did send the links that were on the QR codes in the chat. If you need them, I can send them again for sure. But I would love to hear from you. I know we talked about a lot, but what was something that you have now realized that you can do with Screencastify? So Lori's saying, I can't wait to use this in a campus PD to demonstrate the engagement opportunities. I think you'll see that everyone get just as excited. Joanne said, the turning point in my thinking was when I realized the educator-generated videos can be voiced over in other languages. It is a game changer. And Joanne, I'm happy to talk to you more about this and give you some more examples. I know that was a small piece of today's webinar, but it was too important to not mention. Katie's saying I like the pacing of the questions to go over with my class as a whole. I think that's a really big point, Katie. We can control that pacing. And if we're noticing that everyone is reacting negatively, they all got it wrong, hang on, let's not even go any further. Let's talk about it, right? And you have that flexibility. So that's really great. All right, anyone else have another turning point or a feature that stuck out to them that they want to bring back to their teams? Kayla's saying I was looking for something to replace Edpuzzle, and this is perfect for engagement. I agree. Although I do enjoy Edpuzzle, I like that this has more capabilities and more accessibility for my students and for myself as the creator. I have more options and ways that I can invite students to be co-creators. I can create opportunities on my own work and my own content, or use YouTube for education to help and support my work. So that is a big change for me. Jose's asking, will an Android Screencastify app be available? We follow a BYOD policy, and most of our students bring and work using their mobile phones. Flip-ish activities would be great if they were. Ooh, I don't know the answer to that, Jose, but I will get the answer for you and make sure that in our the webinar follow-up email has that information, because I'm sure you're not the only one wondering. So we will make sure that we get that information to you. Before you go, you will get this link for feedback for me. I really, really always look and appreciate any feedback that you have. I will give you that link in just a moment. I'm just going to click on it. And if you happen to fall in love with Screencastify and love it so much, they are always looking for your review in the Google Web Store, because that's always helpful. And I see Lori saying a great addition to a choice board. Yes. So Lori, that's my favorite point to use Screencastify, is that this doesn't have to be mandatory for everyone. It's another way to add choice and engagement. So that's really great. And I love that you said that. It's another beautiful way of allowing students to show what they know. And if you've been blown away by the voiceover feature, your students can then record a video in their native language, and AI will recognize that, and you can change it to English to help you. So you have options in reducing those barriers. So it's exciting. Alicia is saying, I use Screencastify to make my own videos for instruction. However, I like the idea of live learning. Can I embed my videos from YouTube? Yes, you will be able to. And I want you to play around with the upload and the importing, but you should be able to also paste that link directly from your YouTube video, because that's another feature you'll see when you click on the premium library. You'll be able to do that. So yeah, so super exciting. You have on this screen my email, so please email me. I do check it. I get excited when you're excited, but I also like to help you problem solve for your own need. When we're on a webinar, we get excited, we get jazzed, and then when we sit down to do it, there are sometimes some barriers, and I want you to reach out to me so I can help and support you, because we kind of start out with this like, yay, and then that, aw, and I don't want to lose you in that moment, because there can be just a couple of some tricks, some changes, or some help that we can provide. So please stay in touch with me. On the left-hand side is the support email address for Screencastify. They are very motivated and they really, really want you to be successful. So if something that's not working for you on the technical side, you can also send them an email. On the question that says, are we checking what you went over? We checking what, I don't, can you clarify what you're asking? I want to make sure I understand, Kayla. Are we check? I hope we are. And I hope we achieved what you came here for. Is that the one that you were referring to, Kayla? Recorded a video. Oh, sorry. I didn't know. I needed the context. Thank you. I was like, what did we talk about? That's Screencastify's form that they collect. I don't even see the information until they see it first. So I appreciate that you're looking. And they do ask if you recorded a video, if we went over that. But if there's an option to just say no, that's fine, because this was a webinar, so it's a little bit different. But your feedback about any comments or anything is most important. But thank you, Robin, for the context. I just needed the context, so thank you. And I appreciate that you are doing that. I really take it seriously and look to make sure that we all have a great experience. Okay, so we are at our time. If anyone has questions, I'll hang on the chat and the webinar with you. But for those of you that are good to go, you will get this recording sent to you. You will get the asynchronous slides. So if you're like, all right, I don't even know where to begin, everything is sectioned off so you can step through it at your own pace. And you have my email. So anything else that you need, please reach out. I get excited when you're excited. So, so thank you, everybody. Awesome. Everyone take care. Enjoy. Thank you. Thank you. All right. It doesn't look like we have any questions. So we will end, and I appreciate you all. So thank you. And I can't wait to see and hear about what you do with this.